Imagine buying your dream country home and then realizing it needs everything fixing. I'm talking mold, leaks, broken electrics, exposed wires, missing plaster. This house has been through a lot, and today we are taking you inside for the first full tour. This is not just a house tour, it's a tour of what may be our biggest challenge yet. We left city life behind to tackle this century-old farmhouse as the first-time buyers without any experiences. And by the end, you'll see exactly why this project is both exciting and terrifying.
Come inside and I'll show you around. I guess you call it utility. Oil fire boiler here. As you can see, quite a bit of mold in the ceiling, well, throughout this room, to be honest. So I think the plan is to completely gut this room, rip all this paneling down, redo the roof because it's got some leaks, completely redo the floor with probably just nicer, sexy grey tiles. And then we're going to convert this half, probably from about where my hand is like this, into a pantry. So you'd basically enter, you'd have a door to a pantry here, which you open, you'd get shelving all the way around for your, your food products. We'd board up this window, or brick up the window, and then either have a small window here or no window, and then a sink. So you'd be able to walk in, wash your hands in the sink, and then take shoes off here. So there's going to be like a shoe rack here, basically. I think we'll probably have to reposition the boiler to make way for it. And then, yeah, you'd enter the house. So step up here, put a new door on this, and then you'd progress through to the kitchen. So this is the kitchen. When we moved in, we already ripped out the kitchen units. We basically looked at them, we could see they hadn't been cleaned for decades, covered in grease, grime, and we just couldn't imagine using them. So we ripped them out, and we're glad we did, because we found an insane amount of black mold behind them, which would have been horrendous to be breathing in while living in the property. We need to destroy this wall. Basically, the plan is to make this open plan with the dining room. The next big job is probably the electrics in this room. It's a hazard, to be honest. So we need to redo the whole electrics and make it compliant and safe. There's quite a lot of blood spats that we found on the walls here. God knows what went on, but it really feels like some sort of crime scene. There's literally spats everywhere. Into the dining room. This is probably, I would say, the second best room of the house, to be honest. It's got two fantastic windows. This one's really nice. Looks out on the whole of the property. You've got great sort of panoramic views for the fields around. It'll be really nice to sit here and look out. This window, this view, not quite so nice. So this is our personal landfill that we inherited as part of the property. So plans for this room. So we're going to start by knocking out this wall. So this is load-bearing wall. So we need to get an RSJ in here. But we're going to knock this out and open plan the kitchen diner. So oak floor, transitioning from that room to this room. So that'll be a nice kind of seamless room again. As part of our damp survey we had, it was highlighted that this wall, which adjoins the sitting room next door, needs substantial damp work. We've got a rising damp issue, as obvious by the discoloration and the fact that the plaster literally just falls off in your fingers. And yeah, this used to be a skirting board here. So there you go, there's a bit of the skirting board. The skirting board just crumbles away, just goes to dust in your hands because the moisture levels are so high. So we need to replaster this, and I forget the term, if it's DPC, basically some damp proofing that needs to be applied to this in order to stop it happening again. How we're going to actually use this room, so we want to have a dining table here. So you come in from the kitchen, sit here and eat your food, and then we plan to split this room, not physically, but just split it kind of with uses and have an L-shaped desk here. So one looking out this way and another one here looking out this way. Now we'd like to kind of break the room up with something like a Kallax unit from IKEA. I think that looks quite nice, how you can kind of have that with plants and books and stuff in the way, but we don't know where to put it because we'd want it here, but then it would be sort of between the window. It'd look really stupid. Fine, so we'll walk through into the downstairs hall. The spots of mould down here that we need to find and address. We're either going to go for tiles or we're going to go for oak floor. We're not sure. We're going to have oak here, so it's going to be a nice transition going through. We're going to replace this radiator with a nice upright one. Same with here, another radiator here. So yeah, 2 new upright radiators. We need to put some, I don't know what word, banisters in because it's clearly not safe. Now into here, so this is the downstairs toilet. Now this is a chimney stack for an old Aga, but this is apparently obsolete. So this has been disconnected from the roof down. So you'll see upstairs in the upstairs bathroom that this is also in place. So the plan here is to remove this and to gain the extra section that it'll give you, which is considerable. Reposition the sink there and put a full-size sink in rather than this aeroplane style sink that we've got here. So new floor, probably tiles. Redo all this wooden paneling that's hiding God knows what behind here. Radiator pipes. So this is radiator piping. I've been advised that this is not compliant and needs replacing. So yeah, another job added to the list. But yeah, this is the downstairs toilet. So should we go in here? So this is our sitting room, living room. Now you can't smell it on camera, but it stinks. It absolutely stinks. It's musty, dry, stale air. This building, this room, is an original 1880s room. So the house was built in 1880s, and so far the only portion of the 1880s is this room and the rooms above it. The rooms we were just in there, they are 1980s extension. Very thick walls, but as you can see, so where's, I mean, it's everywhere. It's in dire need of some substantial damp work and improvements. So look, this is the skirting boards. This is the state of the render on the walls or the plaster on the walls. You know, needs completely redoing. And then as you can see, you've got some sort of rising damp coming through from the bottom. An old patio sliding door that needs replacing with a new one. We've been advised that this is leaking and obviously it's, you know, ancient. So this needs completely gutting. We need some damp work in here to fix the rising damp problem. Before we bought this house, we had a damp survey done and this room was highlighted as being the worst in the house. So the damp levels when the guy came were really high. So on this back wall here, the readings were like in the red. I don't remember the scale. And the damp surveys basically advised that we do quite considerable work here of replastering the whole wall, redoing the floor and improving some damp-proof membrane everywhere basically. So we bought these damp moisture readers from Amazon and at the moment the readings are really low, so 39 is quite low. But from what we can see online that's actually a bad thing because it means that the moisture is basically in the walls and that the air is thin as a result of that. So we've got the log burning stove, so it's really good, we got that, but it doesn't work. We don't like this style anyway, we want one of these fitted insert ones. So we're going to buy a nice big insert, let's say this kind of width, decent height, and create the fireplace around it. And then as part of this as well, we've been advised that we need a new flue liner for the chimney. And then the big elephant in the room, I don't know if you can see it on camera already, is the ceiling. I like modern minimal houses, and so does Daniela. And we don't like this. But this is not as simple as that. This is basically double beams. This is box section. Underneath here, so inside this section, there is more traditional beams. And these were added in order to support the ceiling above, because during the extension it was found that these weren't sufficient. And they're not ornamental, they are structural, and they are twice as thick as they should be. So we will at some point be calling a structural engineer and probably spending a small fortune to redo it, replace it with steel, we're not sure. And this, as I said earlier, this is the original 1880s building, and this was the original front door. So this was boarded up as part of the 1980s extension. Kind of gives you an idea of just how thick the walls are, because this is half of it boarded. We don't know what to do with this. We want to have our sofa here, facing the TV, which would be there. So we'd be back onto this, right, with half the sofa probably coming up to here. So you're not going to get the full height anyway. We don't know what to do. Maybe if you can think of something, let us know in the comments. But, you know, it looks cool. It's just in the wrong place to make use of it being artistic, I guess. So now we can go through the rest of the house. As we walk up the stairs, you'll notice above me, we've got this beautiful construction. Now this is a mess, but what it is a shower, right? So this is the bathroom through here. To be honest, it's quite a good use of space. We'll go through into the bathroom. I would say this is probably one of the worst rooms in the house, which is great because it's the room you need to use every day, so that's fantastic. So let's maybe start with this shower. It's actually good in the sense of it's the good use of space, but it's kind of frightening that if you stand on that, you are literally above the stairwell, right? And it's quite a drop. Now I'm 6'1". It's okay for me. I can move around. I can see myself being able to wash in there. So we'll probably make it work with this, because looking at the layout of the room, we can't really figure out how else we do it. We need a bath as well, although we don't really use it. It's, you know, it's good to have for the kids. Just like in the downstairs toilet, I mentioned there's a chimney stack. So this is the cupboard on top of it, and this is the chimney stack here. And this was removed because it was leaking. So the previous owner removed the chimney from the roof, knocked it down from the attic, which I'm glad he did because that would be a pain in the ass to do. So literally from my hand to here, down, we'll knock it out completely. So as you walk into the room, you'll have a space to your left. This up here, another hollow void. God knows how much mold and dead rats and stuff are behind it. So this is a toilet. The waistline's going down that way. I don't know if you can see it, the grey pipe there. We were thinking to reposition the toilet there directly against that wall, so shorten the waste pipe, and then move the sink here. So this is the only place in the house you can wash yourself at the moment, well, at all. And as you can see, there's no tiling at all on the walls. There's no paint even on the walls. This is just plasterboard. And I don't even think it's waterproof plasterboard. Again, like the rest of the house, the floor needs doing. Patchwork everywhere. I mean, for instance, down here, there's I can't see it, but under this stack of tiles, there's like a hole. God knows why or what for. This is not connected to feed or waste. There's a pipe there. I assume that's waste for this shower. Yeah, it's an insane amount of work, this one. But we'll get there. All right, so let's go through to... We're going to the first bedroom now. just like the rest of the house, it absolutely stinks, musty mold, reeks. There's mold spots everywhere, in all the corners you can see. So again, fantastic views out over the land, really nice. So we've already ripped the carpet up, we've moved some of our boxes in, and we've set the tools up, and this is the kind of like make-be workshop area, right? We've got fitted wardrobe here, but this is essentially going to be boarded up or ripped out and filled in. From this room, you won't actually have a wardrobe because we think that this room's decent size, but we want to make the next room bigger. And the plan for this room is a playroom, basically. We'll set it out with various IKEA bits of furniture and fun things for them to do, and this will be their hangout room for the day. So now we'll go through into, so this is the smallest of all the bedrooms. We've already ripped up the carpet and cleaned the walls, dealt with the mold in the corners because we plan to sleep here basically. So as this is one of the original walls of the house, the walls are incredibly thick because it's 1880s wall. Hopefully it'll be quite warm in here, but we'll let you know. So the plan for this room is going to be a kid's bedroom. So we've got 2 kids, we plan to fit 2 single beds here. We've measured it out and we've realised that with a single bed coming out past the door's going to hit on it. So what we're going to have to do is knock through this wall, which is the adjoining bedroom's built-in wardrobe, and we're going to basically build a stud wall out, allowing for the door to open. We're going to relocate the door over, which will then allow the door to open. So this is the wardrobe. We already cleaned it because we plan to sleep here and obviously store our clothes in here. Wardrobes are quite deep, I would say. The plan would be to extend this wardrobe into about 30% of this wall, and then the remaining 70% of this wall is going to be recessed to allow access for the new door, which, like I said, will be moved over slightly. So this will be our master bedroom. Now this is not pleasant. Plasterboard that's cracking away. Where do you start with this room, to be honest? We've already ripped the carpet up because, like downstairs, it completely stunk of dog and damp. So that got ripped up. We're left with a mess of a floor underneath. Like, I don't know what that spot is there, for instance. That looks damp to me. There's been a water leak here. I think even these panels need ripping up and redoing. Now this built-in wardrobe, gut this, rip this all out, rip it all the way out to here, and then get a nice fitted sliding glass mirror style wardrobe that runs all the way along there. In the future, we'd like to put a bigger window here. A horizontal rectangular one like this here would look nice, maybe at head height. But yeah, there's only one window in this room. It's quite a small one, so it needs more light because it does feel dingy. It's really damp in this room, it's really musty, it stinks. All the skirting board, like downstairs, is rotten and just needs redoing. We need to get up in the attic and investigate this damp. I don't understand if this is coming from the top down. It doesn't make sense why it's cracked all of the plasterboard, and you know, it's pretty extreme.